Hey, I'm Max.
And I'm Kat.
We're your AI hosts here at Gut Check Daily. All our content is written and reviewed by a board-certified gastroenterologist. Today we're talking about Top 10 IBS Myths Debunked. Quick reminder, this is educational content, not medical advice. Always consult with your doctor about your specific situation.
Let's start by zooming inside the gut for a second, because understanding the mechanics makes these myths fall apart fast.
Yeah, think of your intestines like a long, muscular conveyor belt. IBS is when that belt randomly speeds up, slams on the brakes, or spasms sideways.
Exactly. That's motility, and in IBS, it's dysregulated. Faster motility leans toward diarrhea, slower toward constipation, and spasms give you cramping and urgency.
On top of that, the nerve volume is turned way up. The same amount of gas that's a non-event for someone else can feel like a huge balloon inside you.
We call that visceral hypersensitivity. Your gut isn't more damaged, it's more sensitive to normal events like stretching and gas.
And that gas is coming from normal fermentation. Your gut bacteria eating carbs you didn't fully absorb and making gas as a byproduct.
Right, but in IBS, when you combine extra gas with altered motility and that heightened sensitivity, you get pain and bloating that look disproportionate on tests.
Then there's the brain-gut axis, which I always picture as a really busy group chat. Your brain and gut are constantly texting each other, and in IBS, that chat gets noisy and reactive.
So, with that groundwork, let's start busting myths, because most of what people hear ignores those mechanisms.
Myth 1. IBS is just stress. If you've been told this, I'm guessing you've wanted to scream into a pillow.
Stress is absolutely a trigger, but not the root cause. Your underlying wiring, motility, sensitivity, microbiome, creates the baseline, and stress just pours more fuel on an already active system.
Yeah, your gut has its own nervous system, so of course stress changes things, just like it changes your heart rate or blood pressure. No one says heart palpitations are fake because stress makes them worse.
So the reframe is, stress is one lever you can work on, but it's not a cure. And it's definitely not proof IBS is in your head.
Myth 2. IBS causes damage to your gut. People hear chronic condition and picture ulcers, bleeding, or scarring.
IBS is what we call a functional disorder. Function is off, structure is intact. No ulcers, no inflammatory destruction like you see in IBD.
But that doesn't mean it's minor. It just means the problem is in the wiring and signaling, not invisible erosion, which is exactly why your tests can look perfect while you feel awful.
And that also explains why our treatments often target nerves, motility, or brain-gut communication rather than trying to heal visible damage.
Myth 3 is a big one. If your tests are normal, nothing is wrong. This is where so many people feel dismissed.
Normal colonoscopies and scans just mean there's no structural disease, like cancer or inflammatory bowel disease. They don't rule out IBS at all.
In fact, IBS is usually diagnosed after the dangerous stuff is excluded and your symptoms fit clear criteria. So, everything looks normal is often part of confirming IBS, not denying it.
Exactly. So a normal test result should lead to, okay, now let's talk IBS. Not, you're fine, good luck.
Myth 4. More fiber helps everyone. If you've ever gone hard on wheat bran and ended up more bloated and miserable, you already know this one is shaky.
Some fibers, especially coarse, insoluble ones like wheat bran, can ramp up gas and distension and really aggravate IBS symptoms.
Soluble fibers like psyllium tend to be better tolerated, but even then, dose and timing matter. A huge jump overnight is like throwing your gut on a roller coaster with no warning.
So instead of fiber is good, more is better, the real rule is choose the right type, increase slowly, and pay attention to how your specific gut responds.
Myth 5 hits every grocery aisle. Cutting gluten will cure IBS. So many people are told, just go gluten-free and you'll be fixed in a week.
Gluten is the problem in celiac disease, where there's an autoimmune attack. In IBS, symptoms from wheat are often driven by FODMAP carbohydrates like fructans, not gluten itself.
So some IBS patients feel better when they cut wheat because they've lowered those fermentable carbs. But that doesn't automatically mean they have a gluten-triggered immune condition.
And that's why a structured approach, like reducing high FODMAP foods under guidance, makes more sense than blanket, permanent gluten bans for everyone.
Let's shift to the body image side. Myth 6. If you're bloated, you must be retaining water or gaining fat.
In IBS, bloating is usually about gas plus muscle coordination, not fluid or fat. Your gut fills with gas, and your abdominal wall and diaphragm subtly change posture.
That's why you can look 6 months pregnant at 5 p.m. and relatively flat in the morning. The volume and muscle pattern can change in hours, which fat and true water weight simply can't.
So if the scale is stable but your shape swings during the day, think gas and motility, not sudden weight gain.
Myth 7. IBS is mild, it's not a big deal. This one stings because it minimizes the way IBS can hijack your life.
IBS doesn't increase mortality the way some diseases do, but it can dramatically reduce quality of life. Work, social events, intimacy, and travel all get filtered through, where's the nearest bathroom?
And that constant planning, canceling, and worrying is exhausting. Just because your blood work is pristine doesn't mean your day-to-day reality is easy.
In clinic, we take that impact seriously, even if the colon looks picture perfect on a scope.
Myth 8 shows up all over social media. You just need the right supplement or cleanse. The magic probiotic, the 7-day detox, the parasite purge, promises everywhere.
There is no single probiotic strain, detox tea, or cleanse that resets IBS. Mechanisms are too complex for a one-size-fits-all fix.
Some tools can help specific patterns, sure, but anything claiming to cure IBS in a week is marketing, not medicine, and often ignores motility, sensitivity, and the brain-gut axis entirely.
A better approach is targeted. Choose therapies based on your main pattern, diarrhea, constipation, or mixed, rather than chasing the supplement of the month.
Which leads nicely into myth 9. All IBS is the same. If you've ever tried a friend's IBS trick and felt worse, this is why.
We recognize IBS-D, diarrhea predominant, IBS-C, constipation predominant, and mixed types. And the motility problems and best strategies differ between them.
What speeds up the gut can be a lifesaver for IBS-C, but a disaster for IBS-D. And constipating meds that help IBS-D could lock up someone with IBS-C.
So it's crucial to know your dominant pattern and build a plan around that, instead of assuming every IBS tip is interchangeable.
Myth 10. If changing diet doesn't fix it, nothing will. This one leaves people feeling hopeless, like they failed IBS school.
Diet is just one lever. Others include gut-directed medications, psychological therapies aimed at the brain-gut axis, and even movement and sleep strategies.
So if food changes help only partially, that's data, not failure. It means another mechanism, like sensitivity or motility, is doing more of the heavy lifting.
And that's where working with a clinician can help you layer treatments, rather than endlessly swapping foods.
I want to circle back to the everyday patterns people notice but aren't always helped to interpret, like loose in the morning, backed up at night.
Those patterns often reflect how your motility shifts over the day, what you eat, and how stress or hormones fluctuate, even if your tests don't show damage.
Or the classic, fine on vacation, miserable the week I get home. That can be changes in stress, routine, and what you're eating, all feeding into that brain-gut group chat.
Bloating that worsens as the day goes on is another example. As fermentation builds and gas plus sensitivity increase, your abdomen can visibly distend without any true weight gain.
So, when people brush that off as you being vain or overly focused on your belly, they're missing a very real physiological pattern.
This is why conventional advice like just eat more fiber or just cut dairy and gluten often falls flat. It oversimplifies a multi-factor system.
And when those one liners don't work, patients can feel blamed, like you didn't try hard enough, instead of recognizing that the advice was incomplete.
The reality is that IBS is a chronic brain-gut wiring issue, not a willpower or personality problem.
So, how do you start making sense of your triggers without turning every bite into a science experiment?
A practical shift is to stop labeling foods as good or bad, and instead ask what mechanism they might be pushing: fermentation, sensitivity, or motility.
So, for example, a big bowl of onions and wheat pasta might scream fermentation, while a super fatty meal might slow motility in some people and trigger urgency in others.
And if a small, low-fiber snack still triggers discomfort, that might tell you sensitivity and brain-gut signaling are playing a bigger role than sheer gas volume.
Even tracking time of day can be useful. Does your gut act up more during work stress, late at night, or after long gaps without food?
Those patterns are clues you can bring to your clinician, so you're not just saying, "My stomach hurts," but "It hurts most when X pattern shows up."
And emotionally, it's helpful to remember IBS isn't fake, it's not simple, and it's definitely not your fault.
It's a very real brain-gut disorder that shows up via motility, sensitivity, and fermentation, not dramatic lab results or bloody scopes.
Once you stop chasing the myths, like stress only, gluten only, or miracle cleanse cures, you can start building a plan that actually reflects how your gut works.
And in future episodes, we'll dig into how to map your personal triggers in a structured way, without turning every meal into a full-time research project.
That's it for today. I'm Max.
I'm Kat.
For more gut health insights, visit gutcheckdaily.com. Thanks for listening.